Hello, this is Linda Vettrus-Nichols, and do I have an amazing woman to introduce you to, Lily Her Lee. Welcome, Lily.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, so we're going to talk about be generous. When you were growing up, were you thought of as being a pretty generous person, Lily?
I think the generosity runs in the family. Yeah. My dad has always been mentoring younger people at his workplace. Both my
Okay.
parents used to be teachers, so
Oh, yeah.
part of them share, whether it's your knowledge or anything that they have.
Yeah.
I knew that it's always important to give without wanting to receive, and being generous means that you always want to think the best of every person, unless
Yes.
that person proves otherwise to be to be unworthy of your generosity sometimes,
Right.
and we might even argue that still you're supposed to be generous because that's a moral high road you're supposed to be taking. So yeah, I think it really comes from my family. I remember when I was growing up, my dad loves to host people in the house. He loves to have friends over, and he would bring out the best liquor that he has every single time. I've never seen him drinking alone a great bottle, but all the great bottles were brought out the moment that his friends comes joining. So I
Wow.
asked him one day, I was curious. I said, hey, isn't the good stuff the stuff that you're supposed to enjoy yourself? You get so many more servings if you just serve yourself. My dad was like, yeah, that's true, but you always want to share things that you have, because once you share, that good feeling multiplies, whatever good
Wow.
that might be.
Oh, what a beautiful teaching. I love it. And you're culturally from a Chinese background, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So my family is kind of atypical Chinese family because
Okay.
my dad has always been very exposed to international culture, and both of them, both my mom and dad, are very Western educated. But yes, I grew up as a kid in China, so I have seen very Chinese cultures all around me, and that's also something that I hold very dearly in my heart. 5,000-6,000 of years of amazing culture has
Yes.
precipitated in so many great teachings.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. So rich. I love it. Okay, so rewarding feeling. So that's what you basically said. You know, your dad taught you that there's this rewarding feeling when you're generous, and that actually multiplies even more than what it is that you could have enjoyed yourself. So that was just like beautiful teaching there. Okay, and the world seems brighter when you're generous too, right? Can you think of a
Yes.
story where maybe you were generous and oh, well, you know, you brightened up your friends' worlds by during COVID now sending little packages of homemade cookies and little drinks for them. That was so cute. I love that story.
Yeah, I think it's just us trying to be more creative now in order to reach out and make somebody's day. I
Yes.
think to be generous, you can use so much creativity along the way. I personally love surprises. And if I were to have a birthday surprise with you, Linda, chances are I'm just going to celebrate your birthday on a non-birthday date. And I'll be like, this is truly a surprise, Linda.
It would be for sure. I love that.
Right?
It's
Because
cute.
people have some sense of expectation days leading up to their birthdays, and especially on the day itself. So those are not exactly surprising
Yeah,
surprises. Yeah, so
I
I
love it.
like to be I like to be generous in a surprising way. I think it's
Yeah.
fun. Being generous itself is meaningful, and if you could just bring that element of surprise to people, why not?
Yeah, right? And my mom
Yeah.
loves surprises. And so my dad took me shopping for her Christmas gift when I was 4. And I came home and I said, they're red and fuzzy and you wear them on your feet. And I'm not going to tell you what they are.
What a wild, wild one to guess.
Yeah, she wasn't real happy with me.
But you
And
were
we're
4.
opposites. I was 4. We're opposites, so I don't like surprises. That
Huh.
gets interesting. Yeah, so I'm doing my 20th book this year. It's my memoir. And so I'm ferreting out, like, where's all that coming from, that my mom liked surprises and my mom likes surprises and I didn't. And so because
Hmm.
she likes surprises, she was not happy when we found her secret present hiding
You're not supposed
place.
to tell her, even if you did.
I hear tell. Yeah, I found that out the hard way too. And so there was a cabinet above our bathtub. Like, who's got a cabinet? Like, all the way across above the bathtub. And so as kids,
Okay.
there's no way we could reach it. At
How did
one
you guys
point, we
find out
figured
then?
it out. There might have been a ladder in the bathroom or something. I don't really know. I don't remember that part, but maybe we just got tall enough to stand on the. I have a brother who's 3 years younger, but maybe I got tall enough to stand on the edge of the bathtub and actually reach the door. I'm pretty sure that was
Oh.
it. Whatever. All right. And I love the give your last one. Oh my gosh. We were talking about this when we were putting
Yeah.
slides together. Tell us about that one.
Yeah. So Elizabeth Gilbert, one of my most admired author, had a recent talk with TED. It's also after the outbreak of coronavirus, and
Oh,
she mentioned that there is an Indian proverb. It's so profound. It says, "Store your last grain in the stomach of your neighbor," and
wow.
that really stuck. So when we talked
Yeah.
about being generous, I thought that the ultimate expression of generosity is to give what you have as the only piece of treasure to someone else, which means that you would be having none of that the moment that it has been given. And that is altruism, that is personal sacrifice. So I think it is the ultimate expression of being generous. And imagine you want to store, not to give, it's the word store, your last grain in the stomach of your neighbor. You feel like you are very carefully dedicating something to another person, and it's not consumed, it's only stored there. That person carries it with his being. And I think
Ooh.
that is a beautiful way of giving.
Yeah, it's kind of that pay it forward idea too. I love that. Do
Yeah,
you remember that movie? Yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool.
No, I hear you saying the expression often, actually.
What's that?
No, I hear you saying, playing forward, and yeah, I think it's so important.
Yeah, you saw the movie?
Yeah,
Pay It Forward. Yeah, that was really cool. And Eat, Pray, Love was the book and then the movie that Elizabeth Gilbert brought to all of us. So that was really a cool movie too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And her talk about genius being a elusive force that comes inhibit in anyone who is trying to make art and leaves
Uh-huh.
is very, very comforting for a lot of artists, because many of them feel like their greatest work is already behind them, which is true.
Mm.
Once you hit that stardom, it's mostly because of the first or second album or that book that you have written. In her case as well, it was Eat, Pray, Love. And she has been tirelessly showing up, because showing up to wait for the genius to come into your body is the least and the most you can do as an artist, as a writer. So I really liked her talk, and her talk is one of the top 10 viewed TED Talk of all time.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
People love her. I liked it when she was talking about how if a story, a book, whatever comes to you and you don't act on it, it will go to someone else. And she lived that. That was fascinating. I believe she's also the one that said that once you put it out into the world, it is no longer yours. It
Mm.
becomes an entity of its own. And that
It has
helps
to
the
apply.
ego. Yeah, that helps the ego so much. I'm a book in 30 days coach, right? And so my clients at that last minute, like push that button, it encourages them to publish quicker, because it's like that relief. It's like, okay, now it's not me, it's its own thing, and it cuts it off. So we talk about writing perfectly imperfect books, because we
Mm,
are perfectly imperfect people, fully
mm.
embodied with our souls, right down in our core. And yeah, it just relieves a lot of angst, and keeps the fear mongers away.
Yeah, it's beautiful to think about the idea of your book taking flight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because you never know what it's going to do, how it's going to translate. It's going to translate different ways for different people. And then there's that ripple effect, right?
Mm,
So
yeah.
my coach just did her memoir, published her memoir. And it was when she was 13 turning 14, and the drama trauma of going back to the missionary ships, and leaving all these wonderful friends. And somebody took a picture of her granddaughter reading my coach's book at, she's about
Oh,
that age, and she's just into it. She's just gone, and it's so
yeah.
cute. It's like, that picture is priceless, and it really encourages you to like do more, right? And this is going to be a whole series. It was, just that first shock of the leaving, and the, I think not even the first year on the ship. And it was really cool because they get off the ship, and she'd be on elephants and parasailing and all kinds of cool adventures,
Yeah.
and then that angst of not wanting to be there as well, and the loneliness of missing her friends. And it's really a great book. It's really interesting. It's called Adrift by
Mm.
Deanne Welsh. Yeah, I love it. Okay, my dear. Well, this has been fantastic. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I have a question for you since you were talking about encouraging people to write their books in 30 days. I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people will suffer from the mentality of knowing that this is a very tough choice. It's bearing your soul. It's giving your very personal, extremely internal thoughts to the whole world. And like you said, once it has been given to the whole world, everybody else takes an interpretation of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you sort of encourage your friends and the people that you work with and for to overcome this fear of bearing it all?
It kind of goes the same as entrepreneurship, right? You people, you're going to be the villain in someone's story, right? If you're married to a narcissist, well, you're going to be the villain. It's not them, right? So even in entrepreneurship, it's like you're always going to displease somebody, because you're working to find your tribe, your followers, your raving fans, and in doing so, you will find the ones that do not like what you're doing, do not like what you're saying. And that can be even found within the church, right? There's lots of different groups of believers. They believe, there's all those gray areas or whatever. And yeah, it's all about finding your tribe. I believe the hardest thing for some of my clients is a lot of them are writing their trauma stories. So, who
Yeah,
are they going
that's
to
even more
hurt?
personal.
Who are they going to rat out? Who this, who that? Yeah. So, yeah, there's some mountains to climb, and it really boils down to, you being the most important person. Like, I totally flunked a test on that. It's like, who are the 4 people you love the most? Go. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't make the list. My husband made the list, and then when we killed them off one at a time, he wasn't the last one standing. His daughter was. I wasn't. His daughter was. And he had some work to do to like rectify that or switch that around. And he found that, for, their relationship, he kind of like could be like mad at her for certain things because of it, you know, and so they absolutely adore one another. But that shifted for him, and energetically, I know that shifted their relationship and really improved, you know, the bond between them. So that was interesting too. That's a great question, Lily. Thank you. All right, my dear. We'll say goodbye for this one. Bye-bye.